What's up, guys? I'm here with Ed Bolian from VINwiki, and I'm in a car I never expected to ever sit in the United States at least. This is a RUF RT12s, and he has given me the key, which I don't know if is a good idea yet. So we're gonna go have some fun. Oh man, I'm excited. I feel like an old grandma, like looking over the dash. Am I good on that side?
Oh yeah, you're fine.
All right.
We'll get you some phone books later.
Yeah. So, as a company, what does RUF exactly do for Porsche?
Right, so RUF has been working with Porsche for almost 40 years, and they buy essentially the bare chassis, and they go to the moon and back modifying it.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, in this case, the car started out as a 2006 body in white Carrera.
Okay.
And then they changed everything else. So it's an all new suspension, it's an all new engine. Actually, they use the 996 motor in this, the 997 RT12s. And so it's got 685 horsepower. RUF offers all of their products as modifications to a 911 Turbo or a 911. But there's also what are called RUF VIN cars. So they start with W09 rather than WP0.
Oh wow, it kicks in much harder up top.
Yes.
Oh man, that's awesome. Bump up. Whoop.
It's pretty stiff.
Yeah. Thought we were gonna catch air for a second. Tell me about VINwiki a little bit.
So, for the last 6 years, I've sold exotic cars. I was the director of sales at Motor Cars of Georgia, which was the Lamborghini and McLaren store.
Okay.
And so, most of what I did was about establishing value and adding value to clients' cars and letting people understand kind of how and why they buy cars. And so, what we built was it's a social vehicle history reporting platform. So, what it allows anyone to do is to post to any vehicle by its VIN or by its license plate. And over time, those posts, rather than kind of fading into social media abyss, they stick to the history of the car and they build a timeline.
Right.
So you can look back and see who's seen this car, who's worked on this car. You can add DIY service records, and you can add really anything. So a video like this will go on the timeline of this car.
Oh, so it was here at this moment.
Exactly, so if someone's looking at the car in the future, they can go here to find more information that might otherwise have been a little bit hard to track down.
Right. Bye. Those guys in the truck were smiling. I had to. They waved at me and I waved by. Oh man. Second is the best. Second gear rips. Jeez, and we're still in it. We're 50 miles an hour in second gear. That's ridiculous.
At 4,500 RPM. There's a lot to go.
There's a lot to go. Holy crap, okay. Well, merging was not an issue. No, Taurus, stay away. I'm getting away from that guy. Yeah, I'll just smile the rest of the day now. That's awesome. Well, like, it hits so hard, too, because it's very gradual for a split second.
Right.
And then it just punches you.
Is just to empower the people who are the stakeholders of these cars to...
Rather than a corporation like Carfax or something like that.
Right. I had a Ferrari 612 that was part of the fleet of an exotic car rental company that I started in college. And while we had it, it was in an accident. And it wasn't that big of a deal. We got it fixed and then, you know, kept it for a couple more years. But after I sold it in 2009, in 2013, Carfax reevaluated the data.
Really?
And they said it was totaled.
Oh,
in that accident. And they're, you know, when a car's totaled, that means the title gets updated and a whole lot of other things change. None of that happened, but the Carfax record says it was total. And I'd actually sold the car twice since then. I sold it to one guy, traded it back in, sold it again in 11, and both times the Carfax is clean. But then one day I'm looking at it to see kind of where the car's going, and we figure out that this has changed. But you know, Carfax and AutoCheck don't really have any way for us as a user or an owner to engage and try to go back and clarify or tell the story ourselves.
What's the major difference between the S and the normal one?
So this car was actually originally produced as an RT12, sold in 06, and then in 2009, the original owner sent it back to Germany for the S updates and to have it painted matte black. Originally the car was GT silver, that's why it has the cocoa interior that makes a little bit more sense with a silver exterior. But he had wrapped the car matte black, but he really wanted it to be painted that way. And so...
Good grief.
He also wanted 35 more horsepower. So it gives you a different aero kit on the front and back, the carbon spoiler, the carbon fog lights.
Spoiler. It looks so good.
Exactly.
Well, it goes with the matte black so well.
Nice contrast. But you can order them in just about any specifications, so you could do it all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. So this is a rear-wheel drive car.
305s on the back, I believe.
And you can get the integrated roll cage. That's why the A-pillars and the B and C pillars are all huge, because they're concealing.
I noticed that when you look in it the first time, you're like, there's like an extra pillar there.
Right.
You're like, oh wait, it's a roll cage with suede on it, essentially.
Right. The steering wheel and all that becomes pretty much standard if it's a roof vent car. But then this has what's called the taller 6th gear, and so that's why it'll go 224 miles an hour.
No big deal. Go baby go. Well, if we could have a normal conversation as this is happening.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not going to blend in with anybody by any means, but at the same time, you're in a black Porsche.
That's right.
I saw a black Porsche fly by me. Oh, good luck.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't have a Porsche. This is something you just hop in, drive, and I drive it most of the time.
Yeah, no, you go to the local Gwinnett meet quite often, actually. I've seen you 2 or 3 times there, and you came in with the RUF, I think, twice, and then you brought the Mercy last time, and everyone was like, wait, that's the same guy? You know, because it's that much contrast. You ask anybody in Atlanta, you're like, why is there traffic? And their answer is, it's Atlanta. Yeah. There's no real reason.
Yeah, there won't be any reason when we get to the end of it.
Yeah, it'll be like, I don't know, they'll spot a squirrel on the side of the road and they notice that.
Absolutely. Or they'll spot someone who spotted a squirrel and wonder why they're slowing down.
Oh, I want to see what they're doing. Like on the way here, you see people braking on the highway and there's nobody in front of them. You're like, what are you doing? It's funny because Atlanta's Southern hospitality is real, except when you're in a car.
Absolutely not.
This car that you can tell it just wants to go. It doesn't like low speed that much.
That is correct. But most of us kind of got familiar with RUF's cars through Gran Turismo.
Yeah, and Forza.
Exactly. But originally, you know, Porsche wouldn't do any licensing for video games, and so that's why they found RUF.
Yeah, they're like, hey, let us use your car.
It looks like a Porsche, but we didn't even have to make up the fake name. It exists in the world.
That's right. Well, I mean, Forza 4, or Forza 3, I think, had it the first time. And I was like, what is that? Like, why don't they just call it a Porsche?
Yeah, it looks like a Porsche, but none of the statistics make any sense at all.
But I think EA Games owned the rights at the time, and they had it for Need for Speed, and that was the only way they could do it.
Oh, yeah, they did have an early, like, Porsche edition Need for Speed.
Goodness gracious. Go, truck. All right. Sequential turbos came in our favor that time.
That's right. I found this car about 3 years ago, and it was tied up since then in a lawsuit down in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, and I kept track of it, and I kept wanting, the guys that were involved, I told them what we wanted to do, and he's like, yeah, well, whenever we wrap it up, we'll sell it to you. But the guy that I knew ended up moving to Chicago, and so I thought I'd lost the car, and so on Christmas Eve last year, it shows up on Craigslist in New York. And I call the guy and I'm like, you don't have the car, do you? You're just a broker representative. He said, yeah, that's exactly right. I'm just
that's right.
And I told him way more than he knew about the car because I'd been following it and stuff like that. And so I was finally able to buy it. I flew down there and we drove it up and made a pretty good time up from Miami, as it turns out.
Absolutely. But yeah, even like you said, 5th gear, even you get in it as soon as it hits boost, rolling along.
A lot of what they do for building their sports cars is what I did with the Mercedes for the New York to LA record car.
Right.
And so I wanted to make a car that was brutally fast, but also really, really comfortable and stable at speed. And so that's what their idea is. It's narrow bodied, but it's still got big rear wheels, so it
You get the
puts
VIN on the
power
back
down.
too.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
These seats you were kidding though, they are slim seats, and I'm a little guy.
Yeah.
That makes, I can see how bigger people are getting nudged by the side bolsters and everything, but you're not going to go anywhere in these things.
Yeah, you don't put anything in your pockets.
All right, guys, hope you all enjoyed us going questionably quick in the RUF RT12s. It was quite the car. I can't wait to do more videos with Ed and everybody else in VINwiki. It was so cool of you guys to let me drive this unicorn of a car, so I appreciate it a lot. And thanks so much once again.
My pleasure.
And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a great day.
Boom.